just to show that I'm greater. I'm eating steak and potatoes on the way to Decatur. Maybe there's just a little made up.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. So, MLW is back with their Battle Riot event, which I managed to stay away from, and it wasn't spoiled, even though it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. When I knew who was in it, I was like, I know who's going to win. But I managed to prevent from being spoiled. So I got to watch the show on YouTube, and it was pretty fun. Not really, but it was only an hour and a half. You know, I wasn't doing anything else. So let's talk about the show. I want to talk about the show in general because Court Bauer utilizes other people's gimmicks so much that like 90% of this show was like gimmicks from other people. You know, like the Battle Royale in itself is like the Royal Rumble. But then when you look at all the various gimmicks that they were using in this thing, and we started out with it, you know, him taking Lucha Underground instead of it, you know, Dario Cueto, the guy who plays Dario Cueto, he is now in MLW. He announces that he's the matchmaker for MLW. And he's kind of baby facing, kind of healing on the crowd. You know, he's in Philadelphia. So he's like, oh, I heard this place is a good place to build a temple. And then he says that, you know, he's not going to build one here because these people, he can't hear them and all that kind of stuff. So now he's the matchmaker. So we're using Azteca Underground, which is Lucha Underground. And we're going to, you know, and Dario Cueto, who is now, what the fuck is his name now? Cesar Duran. And so again, we're taken from another promotion, and then we hear the gunshot like pop, 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 and then I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's Conan with a new LAX. Like MLW just created their own LAX, and it's Danny Limelight, who's now going by the name of Rivera, and Slice Boogie from NWA, and they're with Conan. And I'm like, okay, so we're just going to take the LAX from Impact. You know, like there's been already 2 different versions of LAX. I think there's been 3 different versions of LAX. Probably 4. Because there was one where it was Homicide and Hernandez. And then there was one with a girl in it. And I think there was another version which featured Hector Guerrero. I think there's been like multiple different kinds of LAX. But then Conan has been like the leader of the last 2 or 3. Because he was, you know, with Santana and Ortiz when they were LAX. And now he's with Rivera and with Danny Limelight, who wrestles in AEW. And also, I think Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I think I've seen him there too. And Slice Boogie. So they come out, they want a tag team championship match. Because Injustice was out there, Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver. And everybody gets into this big fight. You know, the purpose of this whole segment was just to introduce LAX. That was the purpose of this whole segment. And I was like, okay, Court Bauer, not doing a good job of like coming up with your own stuff. So the Battle Riot is 40 men, and within this 40-man group, he had a guy named Kit Claiborne who was doing a fake Von Erich gimmick. Now, if you don't know, if you're a little young, they did this in World Class. I believe Gary Hart was actually the mentor of Court Bauer. So in World Class Championship Wrestling, I don't remember what year it was, they had a fake Von Erich named Lance Von Erich. He was actually a local football player. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. They got a guy that's from the town that everybody knows. Like, it's a small promotion. They get a guy from the town that everybody fucking knows and tells him, oh, magically he's a Von Erich. And then a bunch of people were like, no, he's not a Von Erich. We know who he is. And they were like, oh, well, you know what? He lied to us. Like, what? He lied? You don't know your own family tree? That's what made it so stupid. But in this situation, this guy's, he's saying he's Rip Von Erich or some nonsense. But they put his real name on the screen. His name is Kit Claiborne. I'm just kind of like, that's stupid. You know, we didn't need to do this. Who else gimmick did he steal? Of course, I talked about LAX already. He had Kim Chi, the former manager of Kamala. He was in this match. I don't know why. Just for kicks and giggles, let's talk about Zicky Dice. I think he had like what was this, handkerchiefs or some shit in his mouth. It was like like one of those old circus acts. It was so weird and it was so stupid. He also had Tom Lawler dressed up as L.A. Park, which I thought was great. I thought that was really fun. The Blue Meanie was in this thing. You know, that's a gimmick from the Blue World Order. That's a gimmick from ECW. He had Quang in here, which is Savio Vega in a mask, which is a gimmick from WWF in the mid-90s when Savio Vega was Quang. Quang the Ninja, they called him in this joint. They had King Mortes, who of course Mil Mortes from Lucha Underground. And that was pretty much it. But this still was a pretty solid match. He needs to work on how to book a battle royal though. There was 19 entrances before there was an elimination. So there was people literally everywhere. You know, you couldn't focus on any one person because there was people literally everywhere. You know, and then of course it's pinfalls and submissions. Anytime you have a pinfall or submission in a battle royal, you're already going in the wrong direction, right? You know, you got 40 guys, pinfalls and submissions. I can tell you, I didn't see most of the eliminations. Guys just started to disappear. You know, it was just kind of like, oh, this guy's out. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. And that's kind of hard to enjoy it when you don't really see the eliminations. You only just see people coming into the ring and then they go into this mass and then they just vanish. And you're kind of like, okay, whatever, you know. Anyway, the last two were Alexander Hammerstone and Mads Kruger of Contra. And they did, you know, some pretty good stuff at the end before Alexander Hammerstone won. And then it was at this point, I think Alexander Hammerstone came in at like, what number did he come in? He came in at 36. So he didn't even have to fight through the field, which is what you probably would have done. In a normal match, you probably would have sent him in there at 10 or 15 or something like that and had him fight through the field. Which would include Contra, because almost all of Contra came in the later numbers, in like the 40s, not the 40s, like the late 20s, 30s, stuff like that. So Alex Hammerstone, who has been denied world title matches before, is guaranteed his world title match now. Again, it was a foregone conclusion. I wish the match was a little bit more fun. It could have been more fun if you just had people get eliminated and therefore we could actually see what was going on in the ring and focus on individual performers. Because there were some people in here that maybe I had never seen before and that I maybe wanted to see a little bit of. EJ Nduka, the guy who from NXT that Court Bauer signed. I wanted to see more of him. He got like 11 or 12 eliminations. So we got to show off, like he got to be the Diesel in the Diesel spot where, you know, he goes in, tosses out a bunch of guys. But there were so many people in the ring that it didn't look like he was actually making any progress. And plus he was like eliminating guys like here and there. It wasn't like he went in there and just turned the ring over and just dumped guys out. He was like one person here, or maybe a couple minutes later, another person will go out and two more. You know, they could have done it so much better if he was going to be this spot. And you're going to have like, he came in at number 22. So if you'd had like 12 people in the ring and he eliminated half of them, people would have been like, whoa. Because he cleared the ring out at that point. You know, it's like, whoa. But now when you're just throwing people out, and as he's throwing people out, there's still people coming in, it's just forever crowded. And you can't really see the bottom of this thing. But he has some interesting back and forth with Calvin Tankman. I like Calvin Tankman. He's pretty cool. So this match was fine. You know, it was a foregone conclusion. I wasn't spoiled ahead of time, but I knew that Alexander Hammerstone was going to win. And it was not bad, but come on. I like that they put Hammerstone in the Hulk Hogan spot at the end where he got the flex and he ripped Contra's flag and everything. So that was all cool. But yeah, it was all right. Did you watch it? What did you think about it? Like, share, subscribe, donate to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Your skin tone, so why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy guys